Welcome to Truckers Voices Podcast. Your host, Tim Taylor, and co-host, Steve Brand. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
This is Danny Smith. Just calling to tell you how much I appreciate listening to your show, Truckers Voices. It's very informative. I really like hearing the drivers' stories, how they got into the trucking industry and maybe what kind of trucks they started out with. And it's just been a lot of fun, and I would encourage any drivers out there to tune in and listen, call in, be a part of it. It's a great show. Thanks.
Hi, this is Scott Post, and I love Truckers' Voices because there's always something entertaining and educational for our industry. And it's also hosted by two of my good friends, Tim Taylor and Steve Brand. Tune in tonight. And in the meantime, be safe out there.
Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? My name's Charlie Demchuk, and I'm here to welcome you to tonight's big show. Y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Tim and Steve got a good one in store for you. So have a good night. We'll see you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody had a good day out there on their trucking job today. I hope that everything that you did was prosperous and was blessed. Hey, I had a good day today myself. I went up to the Big A once again, and I come back, and y'all know how it is if you ever been up around a big city like Atlanta. I mean, 4 lanes of traffic, people going in and out, getting off the exit that last minute. I tell you what, no wonder I don't have any hair. Okay. When I started in this trucking business, I had a full head of hair. So yeah, almost over 30 years of trucking. See what it'll do to you. See what you got to look forward to. But anyway, hey, we got a good show for you tonight. We got a gentleman coming on by the name of Tim Melody. He drives for ABF, and he's been trucking for quite a while now. Tim's quite an accomplished driver there, and I think that you're going to enjoy the podcast tonight. I would encourage each one of you, if you get a chance at the end of the show, to call the number on the screen, 251-616-2151, and be a part of the show. This is not just our show, it's your show too. And we want to hear what you got to say, and I'm sure Tim can answer some of your questions there. I appreciate all the ABF drivers that's going to be tuning in tonight, and all the other drivers just alike. But with that said, guess who's back this week? He finally got off his boat, put his shirt back on, and he come back to the land. So we got Steve Brand back with us tonight. Steve, how you doing, man? Look like you got a suntan there, brother.
Yeah, I got a little bit of tan. I got a little bit. Got out, had a little fun in the sun, and it was all good. Hey, just want to say, great show last week. Kelly Lynn did a great job. Kaylee did a great job. Everybody was doing good. This time last week, it was probably 75, 78 degrees. I'm looking at my weather right now. It's a balmy 27 degrees. Feels like 17. I'm about to freeze to death, dude.
Hey, look here. Today we had sunny skies and 50 degrees, all the way up and all the way back. Now, we have had some weather down here. We've had a lot of storms and some tornadoes come through and that kind of stuff. So when y'all had the snow, we had all the other stuff, brother.
Oh yeah. I got canceled yesterday, so I kind of hung around the house and did a little laundry and did a little work on the computer and got some things ready, and it was a good day. And then today I've had nothing but snow here. There's, got enough snow it blocked my radar, so it wouldn't tell me how far I was away from anybody or nothing. I'm like, all right.
Now,
But,
Steve, when that happens, you got to go back to the old school of doing things. You got to find you a fixed object and go 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Exactly. We
But
counted a lot.
but your 1001, 1002 might not be the same as the truck electronics. So you might get a headway still.
Exactly. Trust me, these eyeballs are not only checking the mirror every 7 to 8 seconds, it's looking at that computer to make sure ain't no video popping up. But,
yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I guess you heard who we got on here tonight. We got a great guest coming on.
Yes, I did. He's a fellow road team captain. He's a fellow friend, a fellow truck driver. Love to talk to Tim, and great guy.
Great guy. Hey, before we bring Tim in here, I just got one question to ask you. Out on your cruise last week, did Beth give you the right to bring out Tank Frank?
Oh, Tank Frank come out every day, baby. Tank Frank was a shining. He was out every day.
I hear you. Well, without further ado, we're going to bring our special guest on in here, and it is absolutely a honor to have Tim Melody in here. So, with that said, let's bring Tim in here. Tim, it is absolutely an honor to have you with us on the show. Tim, where are you at tonight?
In the ABF's yard here in Pendleton, Oregon.
Out in Oregon. So getting ready to go to work tonight, huh?
Yep. Got 8 hours to do this evening. So,
whew, man. So how far is your run today?
422 miles. I go from Pendleton out to Portland, Oregon, do a drop and hook, and then come back.
Okay. All right. Get to go out there in Chris Luton country, I guess.
Yes, I do. But, he works days and doesn't come out after dark, so I don't get to see him. So
yeah, he has to get home and get all tucked in and put his pajamas on and all that kind of stuff, So yeah. So
all that beauty sleep he needs. So
that beauty sleep that Chris Luton needs.
Now, I just want to comment. Look how dark it is right there. We wasn't on here 5 minutes ago, and he had a beautiful sunset out of his back window. I mean, it was beautiful. Now look how fast it got dark on him out there.
I know. Well, Tim, basically what we want to know from you and all the guests that we always bring on here, and we're going to give you the floor here in just a minute to tell your story, but we want to know how you got started in the trucking industry. And so with that, we will actually add on some questions after you get through telling us. But if you want to, just kind of start from the beginning of your journey up until where you're at now. Me and Steve, we'll just sit back and audience will listen to see what you got going on.
Okay. Well, how far back do you want to go? I mean, the first truck was a Tonka, so.
You can go that far back if you want to.
I think we all had the Tonka trucks.
Yeah, well, a lot of us did. There are actually some people that, didn't really have this ambition until later in life, but I sure did. I was 6 or 7 when I first wanted to become a truck driver, and that was probably from a little bit of the trucking shows and trucking songs, just kind of glorified things. But also my dad, because he left home when he was 16 to go become a cowboy, and of course at 16 he had no money, so he hitchhiked across the country, and a lot of the people he rode with were truck drivers, and they always treated him well and took care of him, and he just talked to them about being hired, talked to us about them being heroes of the highway. So, what kid doesn't want to be a hero? I knew I couldn't be Superman, so I just went with driving a truck, and I like to play with big toys. So,
I think we lost him there, Steve. I was fearful that there he goes.
There he is.
I had some sort of call come through.
Okay.
Anyway, probably for that tire repair I called in a minute ago. Maybe I should have taken that. Oh, well. Anyway, I was saying that from that point on, anything I could do to learn about truck driving, I did. I had, if I could find information from truck driving schools and read it, I read every state driver's manual I could find. My dad had a lot of tips from when he rode with drivers, and they'd tell him stuff, and he's teaching me. He taught me how to operate the clutch in our pickup in our front yard when I was 6 or 7. I can't remember exactly, but we were in the front yard. It was a 54 Ford pickup, and he was
Hey,
standing
Tim.
on the. Yes.
Hold on a minute. Could you actually turn on your interior light? It's getting so dark we can't see you.
There we go.
That works. All right, we got to see you there. All right, so go back to what you said.
He was teaching me how to start and stop the car with the clutch, and 54 Ford pickup, and he stood on the running board, and then I was sitting behind the wheel, and I couldn't see the over the dash really, but I could just barely reach the clutch. And I don't recommend this because of safety issues nowadays, but back then we didn't think about it so much. But he stood there and teach me how to slip the clutch and move the truck forward, and then we'd step on the clutch and the brake, and he'd have me put it in reverse, and we'd back up and do it again. And it's just a wonder I didn't dump the clutch, knock him off the running board, and run through the neighbor's wall into their living room. That stuff we didn't think about back then. That was before seat belts and everything. So, but I did a lot of miles, sitting next to him, and I'd be steering the car, and when we'd go to town, and then later I'd be doing that and also running the accelerator. And yeah, I just love driving, love going places. Did that for a lot of years. Then one year, the first time I ever got to drive by myself, I was 9, and he was working on a beaver farm up in Montana, and they had these concrete runs that are divided up where the beaver would be in, had like a little stream going through them, and every day they'd be throwing in some feed plus some boughs from poplar and aspen for him to chew on. And anyway, he wanted me to drive the truck there on that place while he was unloading stuff, so he didn't have to get in and out. And did that. That thing was an old, like 53 Chevy or something. It was really old, and had a push pedal right above the accelerator as the starter. And them things are kind of tricky to operate. It's trying to step on that, to hold the brake, step on the clutch, and pump the accelerator all at one time. It's just way too much going on. But anyway, I got to drive it around the yard there while he was unloading. So that was cool. Always excited about that. And then the first time I got to drive going down the highway, we were moving from Idaho down to Nevada, and out south of Jordan Valley, Oregon. He got tired, said, "You want to drive?" And I about had a heart attack. And it's like, sure, of course, I want to drive. But so he let me drive that thing, an overloaded pickup pulling a trailer and driving out through the desert there. And I was so nervous that my leg was just twitching for 2 hours that he had me driving there. But that was cool. First time running with a trailer. So, but just like the teaching me to drive in the front yard, one time we were moving from Montana over to Oregon. Maybe you'll be getting a theme here. You'll notice we moved quite a few times.
Yeah.
Just from the time I started school till the time I graduated. And the first 3 years was in one place. Last 3 years were in one place. And the rest of it, we moved 17 times. So there was a lot of moving. It's a wonder that I like to go anywhere. So, but anyway, we were moving and spent the night in the campground. And the next morning, you want to learn how to back up? I mean, he told me all about it, turning the opposite way and this and that. Like, sure. So got in there running the clutch, doing the whole thing. And I was probably 11 or 12 at that time, but backed it out of the parking spot and got it turned around and pointed the right direction. So, but that's how I played with my Tonka trucks too, is from him teaching you how to back up. I mean, I drove them like it was an actual vehicle. I paid attention to what I was doing with them, though I might have wrecked a couple of those. So
The Tonka trucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then when I got out of high school, I wasn't old enough to go interstate driving commercial vehicle, and the Army'd come around to the high school trying to recruit us, and they told us, well, we got truck drivers. It's like, really? I could go in and get the experience, come out, be old enough to go over the roads. So signed up, and when we were signing up, they said, we can't guarantee that you will drive a semi truck, but you'll drive something. And I thought, well, that's fine as long as I get to drive. I don't care. I just want to go. And anyway, got in there, and they're right. They'll guarantee you to drive something, but it might also be a broom or a mop, because it don't always. They just put you where they need you. That's the Army. I ended up in Germany for 2 years over there, and the unit they put me with didn't need truck drivers. I was assigned to a 5-ton tractor trailer, but we didn't go anywhere. We didn't really haul much. The only time drove the thing was when we went to the field, which we did a fair amount of time. But the big equipment, hauling the missiles, due to past accidents, they had made it so that you had to be of the missile MOS, and which is what you're trained to work with, like a mechanic would be, or we called them missile maggots, but I couldn't tell you what their actual deal was. They worked at the Pershing missile, crewman for the missile. And you had to be an E6 or higher in order to drive the man trucks with the big 40-foot trailer with this live missile on it, nuclear missile, 3 stages. And anyway, they wouldn't let me drive it. So not that we still didn't drive very much. He only went to the field and back. So I was kind of unhappy over there in Germany because of that. I wanted to drive, and I'm in a unit. We didn't do anything. I volunteered for every little mission there was, though. If they needed an extra person in the shop to drive something somewhere, I'd do that. Just anything I could do to make more miles, get more experience. Kind of became a hero once out in the field. You go out, and we were in Germany where we were training. You'd go out, and you'd find a road, and we'd set up, and you'd have, because we were in Germany, we couldn't dig a foxhole for security, so we would build up a bunch of brush and pretend it's a foxhole, and all the vehicles had to be covered with camo nets, and you sit out there and sit, and then you get a simulated live fire mission, and a lot of times it'd be right in camp. You'd tear the nets down, and then you would go through the sequence to erect and launch the missile, which is fine. But the one time they wanted us to move to a remote location with one of the missiles and do the firing from there, simulated firing. So we took off, and I was security for that. Went out there, they did it, came back. By the time we got back, it was dark, and they wanted us to come in at the back of the line, have everybody break down their camo nets, which is a huge amount of work, and even more setting it up. And then they wanted us, to restage in line instead of putting that truck at the back. And me and another soldier who was also truck driver, 88 Mike, was doing our best to talk him out of that. We were like, we can back this in. And I insisted that I could. I'm good at this. I can back this thing up off this other dirt road, back down this road. and we won't have to break any of the nets down and everybody's equipment. And finally talked them into letting us do it. I'm sure they were sweating too, because if you'd have rolled it, that would have been not a good deal. Anyway, they finally went for it, and with a couple guys with flashlights at the back and standing out there helping guide me, we managed to back that in. I just wore out my left leg trying to hold the clutch on that thing, and back down that dirt road, got it in there, and we only had to set up one net. And well, I was a hero for the whole battery, because they didn't have to move all their equipment. So only time I was a hero in the Army. So
Well, hey, you was a hero nevertheless, right?
you bet. And then I left there, went to Fort Lewis, got in a transportation unit, but it was we just supported the Rangers and the Special Forces, taking them to the field for training and stuff. So still didn't make a lot of miles, but had a lot of fun, had a lot of experiences there, bunch of off-roading experiences, taking them out for their live fire training, trying to skirt around a live fire range for tanks, because you didn't want to drive through there and become a target, of course. So I went some serious goat trails so I wouldn't have to spend the night in the field wandering around there, really testing out them 6-wheel drive trucks. While I was there, coming out of that problem one day, they did have a shutdown for the tanks on their live fire stuff, so you could go through their area, and because it was the short way to go and the better way. But anyway, me and another truck came out of there, and I got on the main dirt road. I was in the lead, took off. Wasn't going real fast because, it's a gravel road. But the next thing I know, I could see this truck gaining on me on the right side. There's along parallel with the dirt road is what they called the tank road, which was driving through the terrain. You went into every ditch, up and out of every ditch. It just followed the terrain. And anyway, Powers wanted to race, it looked like. So I went up to 55, and he's doing that in that tank road. Dropped into a dip, come back up out of one, and had that thing airborne. It's
Lord.
like, holy cow. So anyway, one of them things you only do when you're young, I guess. So, but anyway, it's crazy. You'd think he'd be the one that had a problem with the truck. No, I went back to the base to get some resupplies and doing a pre-trip, and noticed I had a broken spring. He didn't have anything. So anyway, after I got out of the service, my uncle helped me get a job running flatbed in Western Oregon, and that's where I got on driving over the road. Did that for a year, which was quite a bit of experience, not only with all the hauling lumber and stuff and tarping it and strapping it, and driving in the mountains and the snow, everything else, but I also got to be mechanic on the weekends, because it was a 1977 International cab over. It did have a sleeper, but it was tight. So did that for a while. I also drove a 78 white cab over, which was kind of cool. It had a 400 Cummins in it and a 13-speed Jake brake, which the International didn't have. It just had a 350 with a 9-speed in it and no Jake brake. So I definitely learned how to come down the hills properly without smoking the brakes. Which, I learned a lot from my uncle. He was teaching me stuff to do and how to work on things and everything. But I also learned a lot about not what to do, because I'm sorry to say he wasn't the most professional. There was just about every truck he drove, he rolled. So he made a lot of miles, had a lot of experiences, but he always pushed it a little
Yeah.
too hard. And one of the things he'd said, like when we were coming off the mountains, is, well, you ain't going fast enough if the brakes ain't smoking. And I'm like, I just do not believe in that philosophy. That's not right. So,
Yeah, I think I might disagree with that one.
yeah, just a little bit. So got to save a little bit of something for reserve if you need to stop. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
but
Well, Tim, so you just answered my next question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you who trained you. So you basically was trained through the military how to drive a truck and through your uncle and family and all that. So that was going to be my next question to you there. So go ahead and finish your story.
well, I had other, my dad taught me lots of stuff on how to, float the gears, how to skip shift, double clutch and all that, anything that he knew. And of course, I picked up some more stuff riding with my uncle as a kid, rode with him a few times. Thankfully, he never rolled a truck while I was with him. So maybe he had a little more responsibility with me in there. So, but, and in the Army, and I also, before I went into the Army, I'd worked on a dairy, and we had farm trucks and stuff, and worked city of Fruitland, and we had some dump trucks I messed with. So, I had some experience. I don't know. My uncle did teach me more, though. Got it tuned out, and then it's just, school of hard knocks, learn a lot of stuff. But I've always been the cautious type, so didn't really make any serious mistakes out here, thankfully.
Yeah. So how many actual safe driving miles do you have under your belt?
Last I looked, it was 3.8, I think, 3.8 million.
Wow.
Not counting running flatbed, but that wasn't huge mileage running in Western Oregon because you were doing a couple loads a day. So wasn't huge mileage, but you'd probably another 70 on that. I don't know. Anyway, it's close to 40,000 or 4 million now. So,
wow, that is a great accomplishment. So let me say congratulations on that. And
thank you.
And you have been with ABF Freight for how many years now?
17 now.
17.
Yeah.
And before ABF Freight, what company did you drive for?
Martin Transport.
Okay.
It's a refrigerated carrier, runs 48 states. We, when I was running flatbed out across Central Oregon one day, running with a guy who was with Martin Transport and talking to him, and it just sounded interesting and had better equipment than what I was running for my uncle. And so I applied and they hired me, even though I was just a little bit under what they like to hire and the experience level. Back in the day, the good companies always wanted people with a lot of experience and good safety records and stuff. And I don't know, I made a good impression on the terminal manager there when I went in, maybe because I was clean cut, military experience, I don't know, but he took a liking to me and got me on, and ran 48 states with Martin there for about a year and a half till my wife got out of the service. And then she went to school, truck driving school, and came out. She had to ride with the trainer at Martin for 2 weeks, and then got in the truck, and I did the finish training. We ran team for 13 and a half years there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I never knew that. That's something new. I never knew that your wife drove truck also. So
yeah,
that is
she's got almost 2 million miles accident free herself. So.
Now, is she still driving?
Not in a commercial truck, no.
Okay.
We went home and decided to give up the long haul and being gone all the time. Hey, there's the better half. So.
Yeah, I thought I'd put that
and
picture
our kid,
up there he was talking about it.
Little boy. So,
okay. With that being said, running team with your wife for 13 years.
Yes, we're still married. So
okay, you're still married. Did you ever go off and leave her at a truck stop?
No, no, I
'Cause
haven't done that. I've heard of it being done, but
yeah, the team procedure is if, say you're fueling, you go in, pay for the fuel, go to the bathroom. The other
mhm,
person's in the bunk, whether it's your wife, girlfriend, team driver, whatever. You're supposed to put a pillow in the seat. And I've heard a lot of guys, their wives think they just slip out, go potty, and get back in. There's no pillow in the seat. They didn't want to wake them up. They didn't pull the curtain. They take off.
yeah,
And this is before cell phones. So, they're calling the next scale house, or, guys are running up on you, catching you on the CB going, hey, you might want to check your bunk. I think you left something back there at the truck stop.
yeah, I've heard of it, but no, we never, we didn't have the thing with the pillow, but I guess we just looked to see if the shoes were there, or,
Right.
make sure the other one was there. So
Well, that's good. Now, the Martin Transport you worked for, was that Bluebird?
that's it.
That was Bluebird. Okay.
So,
Because there was
yeah.
there was Martin Transport, and then there was Martin
And
Transport.
they're both out of Wisconsin too.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
depending on how long the driver been with them, they would correct you if you didn't say it right. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
So Tim, let's move on into your career there with ABF, and you are a line haul driver with them, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So how long have you always worked line haul, or did you ever work the P&D city and all that?
No, it's always been line haul. I had a lot of pickup and deliveries with Martin, but it wasn't the LTL thing. It was truckload. There was some stuff we hauled with them when they had a account out of Whittier, California, I think it was, and you'd pick up rolls of carpet and rolls of padding, and you would take it to carpet stores, and you could have 20 drops in the Northwest with that. And that was a lot of work, because then you're going into downtown Seattle and Tacoma, Olympia, making deliveries with the 53-foot trailer, and you're having to hand pack all this stuff off too. So that was quite a bit of work. Wasn't one of my favorite jobs. So.
Let me tell you, I've been to downtown Seattle not too long ago. I cannot imagine having to do P&D work down in downtown Seattle, just like downtown Atlanta. Wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So I run to Atlanta
it's a different
every day,
beast, so.
and I get out of Atlanta as fast as I can.
You bet. Yeah.
Anyway, so speaking of ABF, how long have you been on their road team?
Got on the ABF road team in 2014.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
as far as ABF's road team, what are the requirements for somebody to get on the ABF's road team? What did you have to do and go through?
It's safety based. One, you have to be with the company 5 years. No workman's comp claims and no accidents. And then you have to go through a selection process where you turn in, like a story, like write a small speech, send that in. You also have application. What have you done? What have you done in your community? Turn that in, and then they have a selection committee, and they generally get 30 to 50 applicants every 2 years, and then the selection committee will go through it, listen to the speeches, because you also have to call it in and leave like a voicemail, and they'll listen to it. So generally with speeches, you're kind of listening. Did they follow instructions properly? And what's the content? How comfortable they are? But some of that, you can teach somebody to do. So you're kind of just going over their application and checking out their career and what they have done for the industry or their communities, and pick the best. Used to be 12, now we're doing 15-person road teams, and then once you're selected, you'll get a mentor, just like with the ATA, and they'll work with you on a speech, either changing it or tuning it up, and have you practice interviews for media type interviews, and work with you on that, and then you get to go to Fort Smith and do all this stuff live, pretty much like what we do with the ATA. They try to do a media interview, a personal interview, and then have to give your speech, and then the new team and the selection committee will vote amongst themselves as to which ones will have their application turned into the ATA to hopefully, further your career and further your ambitions, and hopefully make it on the ATA team.
Right, right. And you are America's Road Team captain from 2017, 2018. So the selection process there is basically the same. And I've got a picture up here of you and Ralph Garcia, Tim McElwaney, and who else is that? Is that Tony Sparrow?
Yep, Tony Sparrow and Nate McCarty. I think
Nate McCarty. So all those are ABF Road Team captains there. But that picture there, that really wasn't a road team picture, was it? Was that like a nationals type picture?
That was, I'm thinking that was Indianapolis last year at nationals. All of us were also competitors. We'd won at state level and we were at national TDC. So.
Right, and that's what I was kind of trying to segue into. There was, so how many times have you won your state?
Well, I didn't come ready for a quiz.
Well, about how many?
6 or 7 times.
Okay, so many you done forgot, right?
Yeah, let's see, 2010, 13, 17, 18. Might be 7 now.
Okay.
Can't remember.
So what class do you normally compete in, Tim?
Just varies. I mean, kind of a secret goal is to win in all of them, but
right.
I don't have the ability to practice in anything other than doubles and the 3-axle class.
Right.
And I've done most of them. I still got flatbed and 3 and 4 axle to do.
Okay. All right.
Well, and straight truck too, I guess. So.
Yeah. So you've won your class there several times. So have you ever won the grand champion out of your state?
Yeah, I've done that 3 times, twice in Idaho, and then last year was the first time I competed in Oregon, and I won and was blown away that I actually won grand champion too, which is kind of cool. But that'd be a new goal to make grand champion in 50 states, but I don't intend to work that long. So.
Yeah, that would be an awesome goal there, and I don't think most drivers do that. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to comment those guys in the pictures right there. I know each and every one of them, and a great bunch of guys. Excuse me. What's your success level on the national level? Have you won nationals?
Yes, I did one time. 2013 in Salt Lake, I won my class in twins. So
nice, congratulations.
That excitement is just unbelievable. Just live on cloud 9 for a whole year. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
really, always keep trying to get back there. I haven't been able to get even the top 5. I got 8th place last year, which wasn't bad, and it wasn't points wise. I wasn't very far out of the top 5, but
right.
It's so much competition that 5 points could be 10 people there,
right,
in that area. So.
Exactly.
And what class was you competing in last year?
3-axle.
3-axle. Okay, yeah. I had a buddy of mine that out of Valdosta down here that was first time to nationals. He was a rookie, and he drove twins and missed winning nationals winning first place at nationals by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Les Smythe was his name. So
1 point.
1 point, yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, you always think it's like, I missed 2 problems when I drove, and backing up is probably one of the most challenging ones with your depth perception, trying to see when to stop. And I really didn't want to hit the barricade, so I chickened out, stopped just a hair too short. And than driving a truck I wasn't familiar with. The same thing on the front stop. I was just an inch from getting any score, and any score would have put me in that top 5 spot. But
Right.
Hold on, Tim. Now, last year at Georgia, I was backing up. I stopped. I was sitting on a 45, and I was like, you know what? I can get a little more. Guess what? I got a 51, which equaled a 0.
yeah.
So I was sitting right there, man, and that would have put me right there, you know. But anyway, I got greedy.
Yeah, I gotta sign up for this year, and I still ain't figured out what class I'm gonna do this year. I don't know. I'm debating.
Yeah. So Tim, are you gonna plan on retiring anytime soon with ABF?
Hopefully, if everything goes well, yeah. With the union, I'm able to retire in 4 years.
Okay.
And probably 4 years and 3 months if nothing happens that I have to keep working for any reason. But that's the goal.
Okay. All right. Well, so some are retiring. Okay. We know of some drivers that are retiring, like Tim McElwaney. Byron Bramwell is actually, I talked to him the other day. He's already retired. And, who else is retiring? Danny Smith is retiring this year. So I asked you that question because I figured you might not be too far out. I'm probably looking at about 10 years before I can even, really get serious about it. But maybe not. But it has been a great career, the trucking industry. I mean, I can't say it hasn't. But anyway, what would you tell a young person that's just getting into the trucking industry? How would you encourage that young person?
It's not a perfect job. There's a lot of long hours. There are some risk involved in it out here on the highways. You see these horrific accidents on YouTube and Facebook sometimes, and it's sad that it happens, but there's that risk, but it is a good job, and I've always enjoyed what I've done out here. Well, maybe not the chaining you're showing there.
That's why I put it up.
Yeah. That's another challenge, which I probably take too much to heart because I've always said there's nothing that can keep me from going, and shy of them closing the road, I keep going. But I've learned as I've gotten older that the smarter thing to do is just shut down, take a break, get a hotel room. By the time you're rested, the storm's over, the roads are clear, and you can make better time anyway, and you didn't have all the risk out there. But that comes with age, and don't have to prove anything anymore.
Right.
But for new guys starting, it's a good job, and it pays really well. And if you pick what type of driving you want to do, whether it's long haul to go see all the country, I've been to 46 of the lower 48 states, but we didn't always have time to go be tourists, but we've still seen an awful lot of stuff. Or if you want to do something local with, P&D or dump trucks or line haul where you're home every day, there's just about anything you want to do out here, and it makes a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And that picture that I just put up there, I put it up there, on purpose that she was talking about that. But that's something that, if that happened to me, I've never had to chain up tires before. I wouldn't have a clue. So down here on the flatlands of South Georgia and Florida and all that, hey, I'm just going to stay home if it happens down here.
And being most people ain't got any experience with the ice down there, that's probably a better thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are at 8:45, and I always open up the phone lines at 8:45. So, listening audience, if you want to call in, call the number on the screen there. It's 251-616-2151. I do think we have the phones working right. But anyway, so Tim, while we're waiting for some calls coming, hopefully, we will just continue on with the interview. But so Tim, I seen a picture, and let me see if I have that picture on the. Okay, yeah, I got it right here. This picture right here, let me put it on the stream. This picture right here to the right, you've got triples there. So is that something that you do quite often? Is pull triples?
Yeah, all summer long when we on the Portland run we do pull triples. Oregon law doesn't allow you to do it if it's too foggy or if it's icy or snowy on the road. But if you wanted to go in between storms in the winter, you could. ABF doesn't like having to pick trailers up if you're dropping them because of the weather changing. So we pretty much quit pulling them, come middle of November till sometime in probably February, late February or March when the weather clears up.
I got you.
Yeah, pulling 3 of them. It's not an impossible thing to do, but it's amazing how much more effort it does take. At the end of the day, you can tell the difference, even though now with 15, 17 years experience, I don't have to think about what I'm doing, but it's subconscious. You're focusing on keeping that truck straighter and trying to keep the trailer straight, and you just end up, it just takes more effort. At the end of the day, you're more tired.
Yeah, yeah. So what year, if you know this question there, let's see, I got a comment here from Scott Poe. He says, what year did triples become legal? Do you know that?
Wow. No, I don't.
Okay.
And I would bet even some of my old friends that have retired, it was before they started driving. I'm thinking the 50s, but I really don't know. I know I've read that number somewhere way back when, but I don't remember.
I got you. Well, I have the endorsement on my license, doubles and triples, but I never have used it.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's only in 13 states, and some of those states it's on very specific roads and very specific off ramps where you pull into a yard just to break the set. And I can't tell you what all states it is either. I know Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, those all pretty much anywhere there.
So out there, do y'all pull, like the Rocky Mountain doubles out through there, or do you not?
ABF doesn't.
Okay.
Out of Denver, we were working with Rocky Mountain doubles for a little while, going to Montana and over to Salt Lake, but it just hasn't caught on with ABF. Other companies, not so much LTL, but a lot of other companies do it.
I got you.
Mr. Volkers there's running Rocky Mountain doubles with tankers. So
I got you. So on the left side of the screen there, you have you and Chris Uten and Kirk Weiss there. So what was you guys doing there with the camo truck?
Me and Chris had done a touch a truck back in Richmond, Virginia, which was really cool. It was they said there was over 4,000 tickets sold that day. And I mean, we were nonstop, people coming in and out of both sides of the truck and talking with kids, and they ran air out of the tanks, completely bled it dry twice. The second time I was a little tired of hearing the air horn go off right in my ear, so we didn't charge it back up. But anyway, we had a good day. And then me and Chris had to take the truck out to Phoenix and drop it off for the next event, which was going to be MC&E out in San Diego.
I got you. Go ahead, Steve.
I was giggling about that. You at the end of the day, when it's all over, you hear horns blowing and you're looking around trying to figure out, and there ain't even a horn there. It's just, but it's a great
still
time.
ringing.
Oh,
So, yeah,
it's a great
kids get
time.
so excited getting up in there. And you can see so far, and there's air horns. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, look,
and then
there's a
trying
bed
to
back
drive
there.
the truck after doing a day of that, every single switch and dial has been touched and turned. You start the truck and you have no idea what's going to happen. wipers going,
That's
lights
where
on. So.
yep, that's where that good pre-trip. You got to take a little extra time and everything. And I see you got something highlighted there, Tim. What you got going on?
I'm trying to figure out which Facebook user put this up there, and you may can see it on the site that you're monitoring there, Steve. But it says here you have to have a different skill set to be a city kitty. I don't know who that was. And that is true. And for all my city drivers out there that's listening to us, I do appreciate you, because if you didn't go and pick up and deliver the freight, I wouldn't have nothing to haul on, line haul. So I appreciate all our city drivers. Do you know who it was, Steve?
No, don't tell me on what I'm watching here. It just tells me who's watching.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So I don't see it on my end here, but anyway, y'all, listen, audience, if you want to call in, 251-616-2151, we would appreciate the phone calls if you would call in there. But anyway, so Tim, so you're headed out tonight, and so you just do a meet and turn, correct?
No, I go to our DC out in Portland and do a drop and hook.
Okay, I got you.
Back,
so you don't have to, when you get out there, you don't have to work the dock or anything like that, right? Breaking freight.
Nope, no, just drop the trailer. So
okay,
strictly line.
So I know, like Bill West, he travels out of Atlanta down to Louisiana and lays down. So you don't have to do any laying down or anything like that.
No, we used to when our relay station was in Ontario, Oregon. That was a lay down run from there, and we ran to Portland or Seattle, and you'd lay down and come back. I don't know. It worked really good. It had been there for over 35 years, and it was a good deal. And then they decided it would be more efficient to do the relay station over here, where we would do turns to the West Coast and back, and then Salt Lake would be driving a little bit further. And as far as the company goes, yeah, it's better. Unfortunately, I had to move. So
yeah. Well, that comment come in from, you might know this name, Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
So he must be a city driver somewhere. But anyway, well, Tim, I guess we're not getting any calls. I've been looking over here at the phone to make sure I ain't missing anything. So I guess we about covered it all. We're at 8:53 there. So unless Steve's got some more questions for you, we do appreciate you coming on. Well, here comes a call, just as I said that. So
there you go.
Good evening, caller. Who do we have here on Truckers Voices?
Hey, my name is Tom Cadwalder out of Everett, Washington.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So we got Tim Melody on here as our guest, and I'm assuming that you must know Tim.
I'm with FedEx Freight, and I thought I saw him at a driving school thing we were doing with FedEx Freight. He was with the road team, I think, at the time.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I just calling in to say hi and just tell you guys I support you guys, and this is really cool.
Oh, we appreciate you calling in. Now, so tell us where you were at that school, and so Tim might know.
That was Burlington, Washington, correct?
It was a Taylor Truck. FedEx had a booth set up at Taylor Truck School in Burlington, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he was familiar with that or not.
Okay.
I remember the event. Yes.
Yeah. So tell me, when was that? Was that here recently?
A year and a half ago, I think it was.
A couple of months, probably like 6 months ago or so. I'm not sure.
Okay, if it was 6 months ago, I was there. I had the camo truck there, me and Teddy Butler and Bill West. So, I'm so glad you called in.
Yeah, I was one of the FedEx representatives there at the truck school trying to do some recruiting.
Okay, all right. Well, now where are you? You're out of Washington, or were you out of Portland, Oregon?
Washington. Yeah, Everett Terminal, FedEx Freight.
Okay, all right. Well, so you're with FedEx Freight. Okay. There was another lady there from Portland, Oregon that was with FedEx Freight, and I cannot remember her name, but she knew Chris Uten real good. Do you know her name?
No, I can't remember it right now. It's been a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, we're so glad you called in, and we're glad that you support Truckers Voices there. But call back some other time. Do you have any questions for Tim Melody?
No, man, I just really appreciate everything you guys do. It's definitely tough to be a driver. I've been a driver for like 19 years, and our job's not that easy sometimes, and it's really good that we all stick together.
Absolutely, and that's the key to it, is that that we stick together and encourage each other. And the highways and the byways can kind of be tough sometimes, and some people can get discouraged about it. But I find this one of the best jobs that I've ever had, because it's just so much freedom in it.
Yep, agree, 100%.
Oh yeah, and tell us your name again.
Tom Kidwater, city driver.
All right. Well, it's good to have you on there, and call back anytime. Okay.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call. Put
day.
the word out. Truckers Voices, Thursday night, 8:00.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye bye. Well, so Tim, you've actually done that event there in Burlington. I did that event in Burlington. So
yeah, I did it the year before, so about a year and a half ago. So me and Chris did it that time.
You and Chris did it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was there, and there was a lady there that were representing FedEx Freight, and she knew Chris real good. I cannot remember her name, but she was telling me a story about Chris and spiders. I did not realize Chris was scared of spiders so much. So next time you see Chris, or any of y'all see Chris, just give him a fake spider, okay?
I got some plastic ones at home. I'll send him some.
There you go.
Send him a ring. Tell him to start wearing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tim, just to reiterate, what year did you actually start driving a truck over the road?
When I got out of the Army in 1989.
1989. That's when I started. Was 1989. So, we ain't got a whole lot of time left, but I always heard, I've never run the Northwest Territories. I haven't. Those are a couple of the states that I haven't got a chance to be up, or where you're at and stuff like that. I've always heard it's a different breed of running up there. Can you kind of elaborate on that? I mean, versus what we do down here in the Midwest and East Coast?
Oh, I don't know. You just got to know how to go down the hills. And then, of course, dealing with the snow and the ice in the wintertime.
Right.
But it's just driving a truck. So.
Right.
Just be patient. But, that patient thing, that's anywhere. You got a lot more traffic down there than I do up here. I mean, the highways are plenty busy compared to 30 years ago, but everywhere. It's just a matter of being patient. Don't get in a hurry, slow down just a little bit. It's only going to take you a minute or two longer in total running time. So give yourself a little more room to breathe and be safe out there.
Right.
And going off the hills, especially with the Jake brakes, if the roads aren't icy, of course, you just go down the mountain. It'll hold it on there. You slow down a little bit, drop a gear. You'll be good going down. Save the brakes for if you need to stop. So,
well, with that being said, you said drop a gear and stuff. I'm sure most of your fleet is turning into automatics. What's what are you finding the challenges between an automatic and having a stick like you had in the beginning?
A lot of people had issues with that, saying, "Oh, it's going to cause problems." And really, the only thing I've ever had a real issue with automated manual transmission is the older ones was a little touchy trying to hook up to a fifth wheel. Gauge too much and instead of slipping, and it would slam back in too hard. And the other is if you get stuck out here in the yard and you need to rock the truck. Trying to do that in the automated manual is really touchy. I know it's doable, but I haven't perfected that yet. But I have other tricks, so haven't got stuck yet. But it's that's about it. Going down the roads, especially if you have one that doesn't have a fleet controller on it, where you can actually put it in manual, upshift, downshift. You just drop it down. The max engine brake, usually, even if you don't have the manual control, you pull that down into that max engine brake, and it will downshift as far as, all the way up to red line. Whatever the engine thinks it can do, it'll downshift for and keep you running going down the hill, and that's more than enough. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, Tim, it has been an absolutely honor to have you on there. Can you believe it? We've been on here an hour already, and we always try to end it, right at the top of the hour there. So we appreciate you taking the invitation, and we will definitely have to have you back in the future. Okay.
Okay.
So
good.
So if you can hold for a minute until we go off air, but I do want to say one thing. We have our Safety Drive for a Cure coming up March the 25th in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a raffle going on right now for it. I have a Pit Boss pellet grill and a nice 45-quart cooler that you can purchase tickets for. They're $5 each. If you buy 4, you get one free. We support the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation with all money that we raise, 100%. So if any of you listeners out there want to get a hold of some of these tickets and get a chance to win this Pit Boss and this cooler, just, you can find it on the Safety Drive, the link there, and you can buy tickets there, or you can call me, text message me. Most of you have my number. If not, you can message me on Messenger. I will get you tickets put in there for that drawing. Okay. So March the 25th in Atlanta, Georgia, Ellenwood at the Yellow Terminal. We're all going to meet up there, and we're going to have us a nice little competition to raise money for the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. So Steve, you got anything to say about that?
I think my name's on that. You got my right address to send me that. I believe that'd look real good on my back porch. No, man, get them tickets. I'm gonna buy my tickets. I gotta get on there and get my tickets. I just want to say real quick, Tim, appreciate you being on, brother. We'll be talking to you.
My pleasure.
You be safe, man. And
you guys too.
Maybe we'll get to work together someday. See what happens. So
we'll see you at Nationals.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I like that. Even though it's just in Columbus, I like that. I like that.
Well, with that said, we're going to have to go off the air. Any last words of safety, Tim, to the listening audience?
Just as I was saying earlier, be patient, leave a little extra room when you're out there traveling, and check your mirrors, make sure nothing's sneaking up on you.
All right, Steve.
Everybody remember the most important trip of the day is a trip home. God bless y'all.
Absolutely. And I will see you guys in the morning on my morning good morning announcement there. But as I always say, y'all look out for those because there's plenty of them that's not looking out for themselves. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you next week right here on Truckers Voices. Hang tight, panel.